There's a gentleman, he bought the MGM. What the hell's his name? Kirk. Oh, man.
Kerkorian.
Yes, that is it. There he is. That's my guy. What's his religion, or what's his ethnicity? Does it say?
So he's American.
Yeah. So
yeah, Kerkorian's an Armenian name.
yeah. So what's that mean?
Armenian. He's like
He's all right.
family's from
So
Armenia.
yeah. So this cat right here. Have you ever read his book?
No.
So there's a book called The Gambler, and this dude is unbelievable. He has an unbelievable story, absolute unbelievable story. I didn't realize he died in 2015. I didn't know he lived that long. But you can yeah. I mean, he basically built Las Vegas. Okay, but in his book, way back in the day, and it might say something about this in here. There's a lot of talk about how I don't know if it's the Jewish religion or the Jewish people or whatever, controlled a lot of the money and financing for the things that he was trying to do. So he would have to go see them for money. He would have to go get and borrow money from different Jewish families to build his business. And he was tied in. He was rumored to be involved in the mafia. This guy was. He never was involved in the mafia, but he was rumored to be tied in with the mafia because of the industry he got into, which was casinos. But he built an airline. I don't know which. It'll say there which airline he built. But he built the airline. His original airline would fly from L.A. to Vegas. He realized Vegas was going to be a place that people in California like to go. So he took money. At 13 years old, he started flying missions to. They would build planes in Canada, and he would fly them to an island. I guess he has Scotland right there. And then ride a boat back and then fly another plane. He made $60,000 doing that. And he started his airline company with planes that they abandoned on Hawaii. So he went to Hawaii, bought these planes, went to Hawaii, and flew them back to the United States, even though he didn't have enough fuel to fly them back to the United States. Because that was what he did during World War II. He took planes to Scotland. And he started the Trans-American Corporation, which flew from Las Vegas or from LA to Las Vegas, and he grew it into $1 billion company. He eventually bought the MGM brand. I think he owner financed it, and then he sold it. He did sell it owner finance to the owner of CNN, who's a Turner's. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
hold up, 80 acres for $960
or $960,000.
Yeah, $960,000.
Yeah.
Built Caesar's Palace.
He built, and the MGM burnt down. He personally paid when the original MGM casino burnt down. He paid for all the funerals of like the 80 people that died and paid their families, and the lawyers didn't want him to do it. But he bought MGM, the studio, simply because he knew The Wizard of Oz and all the movies. Eventually, they would have it where they could be played at home, and he knew that the value was there. And that he was going to sell a lot of cassette tapes or videos or whatever it was whenever they got it to where they could play at home. He knew that. So he bought the MGM studios based on their portfolio of work that they had already done. I mean, it's a fascinating story. But in the story, he had two options. He could go to the mafia to finance, or he could go to the Jewish people for finance, and he went to the Jewish people for finance to build this.
And built Vegas.
Yes, and built Vegas. So this is what I know about him, right? This is my only insight into the conspiracy theory that the Jewish people run the money world or whatever it is. I don't know that this guy started that theory. You know what I mean? I don't know that he started it. I don't know that he was like, hey, let me be racist and throw this. Make sure you include this in my book. You know what I mean? That I didn't get my money from the mafia. I got it from the Jewish people. It was just the options that he had at that time. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, now why that is or isn't, I don't know. Now, he was a good tennis player, played tennis. The reason why there's a lot of tennis out there, he played tennis, I think, all the way up till he died. And he married a couple of professional tennis playing ladies and was married to a much younger one that broke him at the end of his life.
Dang.
Broke him?
Made him go broke.
Dang.
She made him spend all of his money. I mean, I'm rattling off a lot of stuff and probably got a little bit of it wrong.
I know about this dude just from MGM and that story. I did not know the airline story.
Yeah, he made all of his money starting an airline.
He charged $1,000 per flight or per.
Yeah, he got paid $1,000 for a flight to fly from Canada to Scotland. And I don't think he started doing that at 13. I think he started flying when he was 13. I think he was flying crop dusters at 13, and I think he was 15 or 16 when he started doing these flights because he wasn't old enough to actually join the army.
Rather than taking the safer Montreal, Labrador, Greenland, Iceland, Scotland route, although going further north could mean the wings icing and the planes crashing, Kerkorian preferred the direct Iceland wave route,
which blew the planes
at jet speed to Europe.
So he would get a tailwind and it would blow him in, and that's the only reason why he wouldn't run out of fuel. And they had an extra fuel. They mounted an extra fuel tank in the cabin with him, so he's sitting on a fuel tank to be able to make this flight, and so that's how he knew that he could do this this flight from Hawaii to mainland California to start his deal. Now, I'm only talking about this dude because I didn't know what ethnic group he would belong to. I just know in his book, he
said that's where he got his money.
That's where he got his money. And it was a big deal because then they did all these mafia investigations. They tried to tie him to the mafia forever. They wanted him to be involved with the mafia, but he didn't. He had rich Jewish friends that financed him and helped finance him and went in on with the deals. And so I just assumed with that last name that he was Jewish. That might be a little racist, but I don't know.
Is it?
No, Krikorian's definitely Armenian.
Yeah,
Armenians. I mean, there are probably Jews in Armenia, but it's not.
What's that? That's East Europe, Southeast Europe.
Yeah. And his big competitor.
There's a lot of Armenians in L.A.
Or a dude that had a parallel life to him was that crazy guy that lived in a hotel in Las Vegas. Leonardo DiCaprio played him in a movie.
Who? Say that again.
His main competitor.
Yeah, south of Georgia. That's what I was thinking.
His main competitor.
Near Turkey.
So I guess, not.
It's not
Middle East-ish. Yeah. I said southeast.
Yeah, it's southeast.
Yeah, his main competitor was what's the guy that tried to build the big planes? Hughes. Baker Hughes. The name in Baker Hughes is this guy. No. Baker Hughes is the oil company now, but Hughes Christensen. Y'all don't know which Hughes I'm talking about? Had a oil company, a plane company, and built casinos in Las Vegas. Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes, a revolutionary recluse. Kerkorian hated being compared to Howard Hughes.
Howard doing better than him?
No, Hughes had way more money than Kerkorian, but he went crazy and moved into the penthouse suite of a hotel.
Yeah.
And just was a recluse. But he was like pulling strings from this penthouse. So he tried to build this gigantic plane. You've never seen the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Mm-mm.
Jeez, it's so good. Because he built this gigantic plane.
The Aviator, right?
Yes. He builds this gigantic plane and flies it himself. And anyways, it never. I mean, he would just spend money trying to develop planes, and I don't know what his airline was named, but he made money drilling oil, which is where the name the Hughes name and Baker Hughes came from. Baker Hughes is Hughes Christensen was bought out by Baker Hughes. I don't know what Baker was. Anyways, doesn't matter. Made money in oil, made money in airlines, and made money in casinos. Built a lot of Las Vegas. He built the half of Las Vegas that Krikorian didn't build. And then the Mafia. The Mafia was out there, but the Mafia didn't have. I mean, the Mafia had a lot to do with Vegas at the beginning, like at its like 1910 inception. You know, they found it like 1920s, 1930s during Prohibition. Once they started building the Hoover Dam, they were out there thick. And they had a lot of the smaller casinos. I think the Flamingo, I think some of those. But Howard Hughes and Kirk Kerkorian came in and corporatized Las Vegas essentially, and pushed the Mafia out. And now you got, I don't know, Steve Wynn. I don't know any. I think he's the last of the OGs. Steve Wynn was brought up in Krikorian's book. He was the newcomer on the block, and I think Trump was mentioned in there a little bit too. But Trump lost his gaming license before he ever got to open up a casino in Vegas. He lost his gaming license.
So he just got the hotel, right?
He's just got the hotel. Trump never could get a gaming license in Nevada. I don't know that to be a fact. Don't sue me, Trump, but I'm pretty sure he couldn't get a gaming license in Nevada.